The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
They say the sun and I shine for all. But I hear some people world, you never shine at all.
These rows of flames are catching a fire. Showed you I love you, you call me a liar. Oh no, 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 no. Baby, tell me where you go.
Talking Heads with Naughty and MJ is brought to you by The Armory Company, Assurance Home Care, Burger King, Easy Car Sales, Fine Threads, Island Luck, John's Department Store, KFC, Naughty Johnny's, Prince Masters, and Tropical Gyros.
And I'm hoping that you sing my song, my song. I've been on this road for way too long. I've been hoping that we all get along. These roads of flames are catching a fire. Showed you I loved you, you called me a liar. Give God the thanks and praises. I've been on my own, but we ain't never left alone, long, long. And if I'm telling you the feeling is wrong, relax a little, friend, this won't take too long. And when you're feeling alone, you can call my phone. Is there a better way to go? Teach them something before they lose the song. Oh, no, no, no. Freedom is the road.
You've got it locked and loaded to the Friday, March 6th edition of Talking Heads, the voice of the one, YG Marley, bringing us in on a Friday. Yours truly, Naughty, along with Mary Jane, in your company right up until 6 p.m. on this Friday edition of Talking Heads. And, of course, like I said, we got lots to talk about on this Friday edition. MJ, what's good?
It's a
Aquamarine.
this color.
Or do I call that Kansas City Royal blue?
I don't even know. I don't
or
know.
Is that Hawaiian blue that the Detroit Lions wear?
I'm not sure.
Or is that old school Charlotte Hornets borderline teal?
Call it what you want.
It looks good. It makes you even more radiant than you already are.
There were some people who were saying that they call the flag turquoise too, but I think it's because we often refer to our waters, which are the most beautiful waters on Earth, as turquoise blue. So I get it.
Stop before that text. Remind me.
No, but yeah, it's aquamarine.
All right, but like I said, it is Friday. We do have a lot to talk about. If you want to chime in and be part of the conversation, here's how.
Here's how you can become a talking head. Brought to you by BTC.
Text lines powered by BTC, 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Phone lines open in New Providence, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Toll free in any one of the Family Islands, 242-300. 5720 242-300-5720. Stream us live. Take us wherever you want to go. GuardianTalkRadio.com. That's GuardianTalkRadio.com. Cable channel 969, BTC Flow channel 612. That's how you get it in. That's how you get it on for fresh new smart talk all day. Right here on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Right out the gate, phone lines. Let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Hey, great show, Naughty and Mary Jane. How you doing?
What's going on, bro?
Right, bro. Hey, I have a quick question before you continue on the rest of the calls in the show, right? Because of this war going on, right, and the oil prices constantly raising, right? How do you think we can make it this summer? Because if you look at the TV, right, that's already $150 on your bill. If you turn on the TV, that's already $200. If you cut on the light and turn on the TV, that's already $300.
So
if you put on the air
you worrying about inside the house. I worrying about in the car. Gas could be, $15, $16 a gallon? You got to get like a pogo stick.
No.
Skateboard and pogo stick. That's what you need to get.
So
how do you think we can make it, though? Because I think this can be bad.
The good news is, and there's reporting on this in both dailies, Mr. Anthony Christie from Bahamas Power and Light has told the media that we entered into a hedge program. I think it started in December of 2025. He says that we have 2 million barrels hedged at $70, which is good news now because hedging does work if you do it at the right time and appropriately. So right now, I was checking the Brent crude oil all week. Right now, it's at $86.99, right? He says that we hedged at $70. We got 2 million barrels that's hedged, and just some crude calculations in my head. I think if we do this thing right, we should go perhaps 7 months, but they'll have to tell us, how long we'll be able to go with the 2 million barrels. But I think in the short term, in the medium term, we're going to be okay. As far as BPL, now the gas tanks, that
Father God, Daddy of baby Jesus,
and then of course,
please have mercy on the gas
like
pumps.
we said,
please, God.
Once the prices go up globally, which they have, and it's not looking good. I had 85 as my target for Friday before I started to worry. It's at 86. Once the prices go up, then everything else rises. So it's going to be a really expensive summer, but BPL should be okay. It should be.
I think we can run through that in no time because, July and August is the hottest month of the year.
Yeah, it's rough. But if they could tell us how long that 2 million barrels will last, that'll be great as well. But at least we do have a hedge in place, $70, which is good for right now.
Boy, I know. I think things looking too good.
No, not at the gas tanks. That's going to be a different story. And then food and everything else.
Start selling legs just to pay their light bill.
And on that note, I wish you a happy weekend.
And maybe hands too. And no, we're not doing any of that.
Why don't you go online now ahead of time and find a company in China that sells fans, the handheld fans?
Lasco.
The handheld, not the Lasco, because Lasco is power too.
You mean the old style, but very beautiful ones, the manual fans, Chinese fans? Yeah, I got some of those. Yeah.
When you open them up, you have
And I do appreciate the Prime Minister saying that they are going to try to protect consumers in the short term and medium term. I think we do have sufficient hedging for the medium, at least to the medium. It's also good for Bahamians to, as prices rise globally, which they're doing now, is to just prepare yourself. Maybe we have to make some adjustments in the way we consume power over the next few months. Just do your best, because yes, it is going to get very expensive all around the longer that this war continues on.
I feel that the shedding of the load will return again at some point.
But
notice what I said. I don't want to say it the way we said because I don't want it to be now.
Reliability. No, I heard there was some shedding of loads today, right? Reliability is supposed to be the thing that we're paying these prices for, right? So not that it's supposed to be a trade-off, because I don't think that's what Bahamians want. We want affordability. That's
correct.
Number one, and reliability. Very close, number 1 and 2, 1 and 1A, right? But if we just get reliability with no affordability, it's gonna be rough.
Let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads. I see this headline has gotten me cracking right up. I got to talk.
Hi, caller.
Talking Heads.
Hi, caller.
Hello.
Yo, hello. Yes, I can hear you. What's going on? Caller, you there? Are you? Yeah, man. We've been waiting for you to talk. What's going on, man?
How y'all doing?
All good, man. How you doing?
How are you?
Excellent, man. Listen, I love the Prime Minister. Let me first of all say I love him. I think he's doing a okay job for the country. And I big him up for that. But the Prime Minister said in the House of Assembly the other day, Bahamians don't read. I don't like that too much. And then he came back and said, Bahamians, the contract between those companies with BPL, that they're going to present them. And then they can discuss it with the FRM and whoever else. Well, Naughty, if you go commit a crime and the judge and sentence you, what we need to discuss after you already signed the deal? That make any sense?
Well, I mean, since you put everything incarceration, yeah, maybe a plea bargain, maybe a shorter term, maybe. I
mean, but you can't do something, sell the company or whatever you did to it, and now you want to discuss it.
No, a deal is a deal, man. If I trade you a player, and after the fact you find out that player got a degenerative knee condition, that's on you. You didn't do your due diligence. He's done traded. I don't need to know no more about him.
Yeah, but Lordy, I love the Prime Minister, but he can't say that. Man.
No, I feel you, man. I understand what you mean.
After you done signed it, you
right.
Tell whoever you did, now you want to discuss it?
Now, listen, I'll be honest with you. When it come to like baseball, especially in sports, I with you on that too, man. You know, the Prime Minister, he all right with me. He could sit down at any game with me. We'll watch it. We'll have some brewskis and KFC. But when it comes to maybe like managing the country, yeah, I got some issues there.
Yeah, right. No, you all have a beautiful evening. No,
you have a great weekend too.
You have a good weekend too, bro. Be safe.
Y'all do the same.
Let me check the text lines real quick. This PLP government is a joke because I remember them saying the hedging don't work. Now they're using it. Yeah. I'm glad they're using it. I'm glad they got it done.
Unfortunate. That was very unfortunate. The bills that we paid before, but thank you.
The last time they went to deal with it, Mr. Sears, he fumbled that hedge.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that I digress.
They learned a lesson. Perhaps that's the good way to look at it.
Let's get this call in. Talking Heads.
I just want to ask a question.
Okay.
Do you think the Prime Minister is going to say a sentence that has the word hedging in it?
You want me to give you the odds on that? Considering all things and the way he answers questions, I'll put it in coming in at like maybe say 50 to 1.
Hey, you know, I think we reach a tipping point in the country where the man who is the leader of this country, when he approaches a microphone, he sounds like a lawyer. Couldn't get a straight answer out of him if his life depended on it.
Well, I mean, you say he sound like a lawyer. I say sometimes he sound like a 50 motor scooter trying to start up. That or a tugboat.
No disrespect, Naughty. No disrespect.
That ain't disrespect. That's what I hear. I can only comment on what I see and hear, but ain't nothing disrespectful there.
Your thoughts are that the Prime Minister needs to be more straightforward in his responses and not, pardon the word, hedge so much what he says?
He pretends to be a humble person, but, you know, after he's explained and he's spoken, you know, it's like he doesn't have an ounce of humility in his soul a bit.
Listen, I still feel he got more humility than his predecessor.
Listen now.
Now notice my PIP listeners and friends. I just defended the PM.
Say apples to oranges. Oh, goodness.
Naughty. We can't compare apples to oranges. Okay?
All right.
Thank you very much,
Good
caller.
stuff, man. Let's get this last call in. And when I mean last call, I'll tell you why. Talking Heads.
Good day, Madam MJ. And
hi, good afternoon.
Dennis the Menace, what's going on?
I am baffled by the comments you are making on Philip as a lawyer because they call him a Casey, but making these mistakes in what he just say as Prime Minister of this country. He just say now with the GP, Grand Bahama Port Authority ruling that the government have the upper hand or something, right? And something in that regard, right?
Man, if that's what he needs to say to mentally deal with it and get a solution at some point, hey, all right, at this stage, if that works for you, go ahead. At some point, we need an answer.
And then Bahamas grid have 60%, and BBL has 40%. And the same thing that he really floating around because they come back to the BPL deal that he wants to tell the Bahamians that they're ready to explain. And they still don't have no contract for those islands in the south. And the COO for BPL is saying now that is letting you know that the cost of electricity in the southeastern islands will be as much as 90 cents per kilowatt, Ms. MJ.
Yeah, but they smooth it out across they smooth it out across the island. So to have parity. They balance it.
So in other words, what they're saying is that they never been making no profit.
Right.
BPL and BEC never been made. That's a losing venture with those islands down there.
Right.
And with those small pockets of settlements, like I've been saying, why haven't they gone and solarize all of them because it's less than 6 people live in Long Key and they burning fuel 24 hours a day. You see, but the main point I'm saying, why he don't say what leverage the Bahamas grid have on us Bahamian people, and less than 1% of the Bahamian people was invited to participate in raising that $100 million.
Dennis, I know you wanted to be part of that, man. That ship sailed, man. I mean, I understand that, but
the entry was high at 50,000.
I didn't want to point out the arithmetic because,
I know.
like to say, the math ain't mathing.
The math ain't mathing. Thank you very much, Dennis.
Stuff,
have a great weekend. All
Appreciate
right.
you. Have a good weekend. Listen, last thing I can say on politics right now, I look at this headline today. Why do I get the impression that the Prime Minister looked at Mr. Haven and say, calm down, my boy. I know your pa.
I
know your pa.
Oh, out of Mr. Port Authority? Okay.
Yeah, I know your pa.
I
know your pa.
Did you get from that letter? Like,
you need to freak yourself out. I know your pa.
Very Bahamian way to.
And I know your grandpa too.
Yeah.
And I know how he gets straight. So listen, calm yourself down. We can work it out.
Oh Lord.
Let's have some boiled fish.
You're listening to Talking Heads on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. We're going to take a
quick break, but now, like I said, we're waiting for our special guest today. And I didn't announce it because
he has arrived.
He has arrived.
Yes.
And this is kind of a conversation we wanted to have with him because it's kind of different.
And so, because we're so used to just all politics dominating it, but sometimes you have to shift it to a little bit more like national conversation. So this will be good today. We ain't talking politics, pure politics, or talking about politicians or anything about like that. We're talking to...
Y'all can check me on the GPBA on Monday.
Even though
you can check me on the NBA today.
Even though we're talking to former member of Parliament,
yeah,
right?
Former Mount Moriah MP for the PRP, Mr. Code Smith.
But he's got some ideas about the Bahamas becoming a republic.
And listen, I
want to hear these ideas
because I don't think that's too bad of an idea right there once we can get it right.
He's going to give us some civics and his thoughts about why. You're listening to Talking Heads on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Naughty, yours truly, MJ. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with our special guest, former MP for Mount Moriah, Mr. Code Smith.
Freedom is the road. Oh, no. Coming in from the cold. Tell them not to sell it, it's worth more than gold. And guiltiness will catch them in the end. Oh, yeah. They'll try to manipulate you through your pockets.
The fried chicken experts are back with a brand new way to enjoy your favorite sandwich. Introducing the Wrap Star. Crunch into the Wrap Star, full of flavor and wrapped in a warm grilled tortilla for that perfect crunchy bite. A classic made modern that's crunchy, melty, and grilled to perfection for all the journeys of your day. KFC, it's finger licking good.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Put more money back in your pocket with the Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan. Why pay more when you can pay less? Reduce your monthly debt payments down to one low, easy payment. Apply for a Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Craving something bold, fresh, and unforgettable? Tropical Gyros is your flavor-packed escape, a Carib-Greek fusion born right here in Nassau. From juicy grilled salmon, chicken, and pork gyros to loaded bowls, fresh salads, wings, and more. There's something for every craving. Find Tropical Gyros at any of their locations, JFK Plaza, Rosetta Street, Port Lucaya Freeport, or their franchise spots on Prince Charles Drive, Soldier Road West, Delaport, on Carmichael Road. Tropical Gyros, not just good food, it's an experience.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
It's time for The Buzz. What are you buzzing on? Brought to you by John's Shoes.
These roads of flames are catching a fire. Showed you I love you, you call me a liar. Oh no, 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 no. Baby, tell me where you gone. I've been feeling for your love so long.
You're listening to Talking Heads on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM with us as a very special guest in studio today, former Mount Moriah MP Mr. Code Smith, and we're discussing the constitutional question of whether, the Bahamas could ever become a republic and what that would actually mean. So he's going to educate us a little bit on this today. And of course, I think this is good because we focus on politics and politicians a lot. And today we're not going to do that. We're going to have a conversation that affects everyone.
And what I'm glad about this for this conversation, is the fact that it's now made it outside of the barbershop. It's been always a hot topic in the barbershop. Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize
that. Oh, yeah.
That.
But see, the barbershop is the last bastion of free speech. So when we get in there, as fellas, we talk, we know you can stay in there politically or whatnot. But people think about it. But then you say it in public, and people still to this day feel, don't say it too loud because you don't want any, backlash. But it's something that we need to look at. For me, it gives us a chance to reset and change some of the political landscape that we need to change, some of the processes that we go through in order to find leadership and political parties.
Right.
And it also gets us away from something that, I'll be honest with you, I appreciate, our historical attachment to Great Britain. Mm-hmm. But I think in 2026,
so we're gonna go.
I'm more affiliated with QC as in Queen's College than the King or the Queen.
Lord.
No offense, and I just hate to say it.
Okay, so we're gonna get into all of that. The structural model, what'll have to change. But welcome to be here. For listeners who may not follow constitutional law closely, let's start by figuring out what actually changes if we become a republic.
Well, the first thing that I would say, especially with me, I had this in my mind since I was a junior high school student. And, I'm now in my 60s. So this has been traveling with me for over 50 years.
Wow.
And the point is that I had a problem then, and I do have a problem especially now.
Okay.
For me to give, when I was in Parliament and I had to swear my allegiance to Queen Elizabeth.
Right.
Her heirs and successors, I can tell you, I had a very big problem with doing that. And I objected.
Okay.
But of course, the clerk of the House of Assembly said, "Code, you have to do it because the law says it is in accordance to law."
Right.
Okay.
And so I had to do that in order for me to have my voice in there. But the reality is, it is time now for me to say out loud.
Okay.
Like Naughty said just a moment ago, a lot of us have a lot of say, but we don't say it where it needs to be said. Let me say it out loud for the benefit of my son, who I think is listening right now today, my daughter, who I've spoken with about for many years, and she is overseas. But it's the greatest thing that you could possibly be here right now as it is. King Charles, and I had a difficulty saying that just now, but King Charles and his family. Can you imagine William or Harry being the person I have to swear and bow to? The hell with that.
But I mean, Harry, all right with me. I think I could have a brewski with Harry.
Harry's a little bit down on the line of succession now.
He's like the anti-hero, the anti-royal.
Now you're talking about
but I get your point.
William or George or Charlotte or Louis,
No, forget that one. Because
you
remember,
even go in there.
The eighth in line is still Prince Andrew. The one who's a pedophile.
Oh boy. Well, alleged.
He's not alleged to be the eighth. He's the eighth. He's the eighth.
Not alleged to be eighth, but alleged to be that word you use. So we're going to make that very clear.
Okay, but you could, if you want to say no, but I don't think he has been aligned with a convicted pedophile. Let me clarify that from my voice.
Associated with.
Yes. He's associated.
And for that reason, he has lost his princely title.
Whatever. But the point is that if King Charles can kick his own brother out.
Right.
Yeah.
Because of association. Then why is it that we can't kick King Charles out?
All right.
We don't need him here in
I
Bahamas.
can see you have to had this on you. So let's walk through it. Changes. What changes if we make this move?
Well, the first thing is that you no longer have this titular head. They call it titular head.
Right.
In the Bahamas.
Okay.
Everyone, from the Prime Minister, the Governor General in the Bahamas, they all swear allegiance to someone else.
Yes.
For all of our lives,
Right.
all of us are in the same age category. All of our, well, you may be younger than us, but all of our lives.
A little bit younger. But
And a little bit younger, but yeah, we in set.
Yeah.
We
But-
close.
But
For all of our lives-
spiritually, we're all the same age. Yes.
For all of our praise to the Queen, no matter what.
Right.
All of the land that is not your land or my land belongs to the Queen.
Were you singing that song in school? Because I kind of remember that the God Save the Queen song before we had our national anthem and independence.
No,
Did
I
you used to
remember
sing
it
that?
a long
That
time
song?
ago.
You remember that, right?
Save
Oh,
our
my
gracious King.
goodness. Yeah.
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 Luckily for me, when I was in primary school, that's when the independence
National
came
anthem
out. So-
came along.
Right, and that's kind of what spared like my generation from it because there was a buffer called independence and the years that came following.
And that's what you
and,
mostly
and
remember.
that's where the boom of Bahamian pride came from. Like
Yes.
back then, like hey, be Bahamian, be
But
independent.
you know, I know that you all say you didn't want to talk much more about politics, but politics is interwrapped with this thing.
Well,
You can't get away from it.
Of course, because, the politicians will, and the people as well. would
No,
lead-
let me say this bit to the
lead the-
PLP, who
lead
is
the
in
charge.
government now. The
Okay.
PLP has a supermajority right now.
Mm-hmm.
If the PLP really had this in the forefront of their minds,
Right.
they could have very, very easily do the one thing that is required under the Constitution. Because once they make a determination they want to do this, they have to have at least 3/4 of the House to vote in favor of the change.
And they have that supermajority.
And they have that now. And if it is that the PLP wins again, and in the same level that they are,
Right.
they will have it again. And what I'm trying to do here, what I'm trying to do here is to invite both political organizations.
Well,
But listen,
3 of them now, right.
I'm being realistic. Both political
gotcha.
organizations. I like Lincoln. Lincoln is a good. In fact, he's talking about all the things I like to have
I mean,
talk about.
I think they call him president. I guess that they're for the Bahamas becoming a
El
republic.
Presidente.
You might be missing out on a natural ally in this. Let me ask you this, though. Okay, so we know we would remove the king as our head of state. But what model would you envision for the Bahamas? I mean,
I think the model that was adopted and now being acted on by Barbados is
you like what Barbados?
Yes.
Yeah,
You can have the same kind of setup because of the structure of how our governments are.
We'll have a president instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, you did mention about the 3/4 in Parliament, but this is something that would have to go to referendum, right? This is a
Yes.
constitutional change.
Yes. And long time ago, unfortunately in the Bahamas, what we had was there were a lot of naysayers against independence. And historically, you had the UBP/FNM who was against it.
Well, we've gone over this many times. Members of the Free National Movement were a part of that move to independence. So I don't think we need to really add a conversation with Michael Folks, and we went through that extensively. So particularly on an issue like this, like we need to be united in the way we move towards this, if this is to be successful, correct?
Yes.
What have you heard so far? And I'm going to talk more about the nuts and bolts of it, because I think that's what people need to be educated on. So I can't wait for you to tell us that. But just in your daily movements, I know you say you had this in you from you were in junior high school. What's it like out there? Are you getting a lot of people, a lot of support? Is there a push? Is there a movement that says, hey, we need to do this?
There is maybe a quiet but a very powerful push to move, especially after what I just mentioned, and you corrected me or cautioned me. But what I just mentioned, the fact that you have these people are no different than you and me. They have the same problems that we have. And then unfortunately, in the case of Andrew, worse than most of us have. And he is associated in a very negative way, as you know. No matter who you have in the Bahamas, you may have people who are involved with drugs or other things, but they cannot stand people who mess with children. As an attorney, I don't represent anyone who was accused of anything to do with children.
It's like the gravest sin.
Yeah, that's a very bad thing for me.
That's a taboo with a lot of people.
Because I'm fairly competent at what I do in law, and I don't want to be able to get anyone off in case they did it.
Oh boy, that's very true. I'm saw some lawyers and they're like, ooh, but I
You're
totally
bad for
respect.
business right now,
I
Coach.
totally respect your. I mean, you have the choice, and I totally respect that position. Let me ask you this, so because people are listening, they're like, Republic, what does it mean? How does it work? Would becoming a republic change the powers of the Prime Minister or Parliament?
No.
Okay.
Because remember, Parliament in our system and in the new system that we'd have, and like any other, because even though you have in the United States, for example,
Right.
the United States has what is called a Congress.
Mhm.
It's the same thing as a Parliament.
Right.
And they have a Senate over there as well. We have a Senate here.
Yeah.
And it's no different because all the Congress or the Parliament is they are lawmakers. They make laws. That's all they do. We do it a little differently here in the Bahamas because we want the MP to run around and do everything. Cut down the trees, all that kind of stuff. But the reality is an MP is nothing more than a person who's going to formulate laws to help govern us. And then the executive, which is a different arm of government, is the cabinet, meaning the prime minister and his group.
And his cabinet, yeah.
Okay, and then of course you have the courts.
That
which is the
doesn't change.
judiciary.
Yes.
That doesn't change.
Right.
And in fact, recently, as you may know, the courts have even become a council. They've really become independent now.
Which is good.
Which is something I know that Joan Sawyer, Dame Joan Sawyer, when she was in office, she was preaching that for years.
Yeah, I think it's good for the country.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yes.
Because now you have now the Chief Justice, Ian Winder, he is there. But for him, he does not have to answer directly to the Prime Minister. Because before, any Chief Justice, even though he or she may have their own views, technically the Prime Minister is writing the check.
Yeah.
So we have to have
You want that clear separation of powers, right?
very clear separation of powers.
Yeah.
And the one way we do that, and when we move away from the monarchy or the monarch being in charge of us, and we have to say praise to him or her, closer to where we need to be.
When Barbados became a republic back in 2021, the Governor General essentially became president, and the system pretty much otherwise stayed the same. Is that the model you have in mind? Would the president, our new head of state, be selected in the same way that a Governor General was in the past? Or would they be elected? How do you envision this?
I envisage this more along the lines strictly as how the United States is.
Okay.
Because the chief of the nation should be elected. He or she should be chosen.
So head of state should be head of government? Yes. So would we have a president or?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what will happen. And that is something that...
Your model, like what you're thinking.
Yeah, my model is more like, in the region, of course, of Barbados, but more like the United States in the sense that you have a republic, and you have all of the. I'm sure you have heard a lot of talk about the islands and they're being better set up for the family islands, etc. And so, rather than just simply having an administrator who again has to pay homage to the prime minister, have Auckland and Crooked Island run their own show in Auckland and Crooked Island.
Yeah.
And yes, they may have to have subventions because they don't generate enough money. It's
difficult, yes.
But either way.
So you look at the islands more like states in that regard.
I'm looking at some of the text right here, though. I mean, you like I said, this is something that I think Bahamians do want to talk about, but they need the forum to get it going. Good afternoon, MJ and Naughty. Always nice to hear you guys and to your guests. A Republic of the Bahamas may not be a bad idea if executed right for all and not just for a few.
One of the biggest problems, Naughty, is that back in the 60s, when we were leading up to independence, from what I learned from some of the elderly people, we just laid one to rest today, who was Felix Bowe.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
people
our condolences out
Condolences
to the
to
Bowe
his family.
family,
Yeah.
and Franny and all of them.
But people like him and my mother, who passed away now sometime, they always talked about how in Crooked Island, which is where my mom was from, how people were afraid that Prime Minister Pinelling would have come in and do a lot of hanky-panky.
Hanky-panky.
Yeah, to do things with friends and lovers, using that term.
Okay.
And so people were afraid of the rule of law being sustained. Those people who were there said, no, the Bahamas cannot run itself. People who were in the F&M party, and I heard what you said a moment ago, yes, when Sir Cecil was the chairman of the PLP, he was a part of the movement. And then he changed his view because he said, no, don't have it now in 73
I think we...
60s
and I hear you, but I think we kind of litigated that out a lot, and there's
no, but this is very important. This is very important to what I'm talking about.
Opinion. No, I understand that.
No, but that's
and I'm going to hear you out. But like, I'm just letting the audience know that this opinion. Tell us your thoughts.
It's not sustained.
Yeah, there are persons that disagree vehemently with the way that Sir Cecil's involvement was in terms of this whole question of independence. So, and I get your point, but I think that when we start talking about moving towards a republic, which I know you've thought about it a lot, and some Bahamians have thought about it. I've thought about it. We're not fully educated on it. So I think this will be a great opportunity for you to tell us what our lives would look like. If you want to get more Bahamians on board with this, this is your chance right now to explain to us what this whole new system would look like, if it looks different from what it looks like now.
The first thing is, Emma, I'm sorry to be very bombastic with you.
No.
I'm
listening.
The reality is we have to be true to ourselves, No matter what the truth is, let it be what it is.
Sure.
And so if the history is there, the history is there. There's no ifs. Like you said, we all have to come together.
Absolutely.
And so if we first of all make up our minds that the model that we currently have in the Bahamas is not in our favor, because no matter what you say or do, you see in the newspaper, today's paper, where the Prime Minister is speaking against Mr. Haywood. The reality is, Mr. Haywood, the history is what it is. He can't change it. And if the Prime Minister said what he said, now I am not as old as they are, or as old the Prime Minister is, but I'm steeped enough in the history. I know about Grand Bahama.
I'm a Grand Bahamian, so I know about...
He had a number of problems. I was very close friends with Edward St. George when he was alive. But the reality is, he's not going to tell you that, no, the history is not what it is. It is what it is.
Yes, no, absolutely it is what it is.
And but my cousin, for example, who passed away some time ago, Dalzell Coakley from Grand Bahama.
Right.
He was very much involved with trying to change the whole trajectory of where Grand Bahama was headed.
And this is what you're talking about, changing not just the trajectory of Grand Bahama, but of the whole Bahamas. You want to move us away from the constitutional monarchy to a republic. So I'm going to ask you again, what does that look like? Say the average Bahamian walks up to you and say, okay, I hear y'all talking about republic. I don't know if I'm on board. Maybe, I don't know. Because, maybe it's not a big deal. But just tell Bahamians how their lives will be different, how it'll be improved with us moving towards a republic. How does it change our political system? And more importantly, what steps are required to get us to where you say you want us to be?
First of all, like I said, you change the head. The head is very important. Because until not just symbolic,
psychological?
Psychological is the most important part of it.
Good.
Until that is done, no Bahamian could really, truly be the greatest that they could be. That's the point I made earlier. You can't. No matter what, anyone be the head of the Bahamas. Even the Governor General could never be the head of the Bahamas.
Right.
Because she, in this case, she is a representative of the monarch.
The king.
Yes.
So what steps, and then tell us so we changed to, and I've looked at Barbados.
Start off by reading.
Right.
Read, because God rest the dead, Mr. Paul Adley, as well as Sean McQueen, who is alive now.
Right.
But they were
both very brilliant minds.
Very brilliant people. But they wrote a very detailed, how should I say, paper on whether and what is entailed. And so perhaps we could start by reading.
Right.
And perhaps some of those books can be made available.
Point us to where to find the information. Just Google their views
That's
on
what I'm
Bahamas becoming a republic.
I got a lot of questions, but they can find more info.
More information to understand what this would look like for us.
One of the first things to do is to speak with the office of the Prime Minister.
Okay.
Okay, because that is where the Gazette is, essentially.
Okay.
And so you get copies of it from there, and The Guardian is a very good newspaper.
Been around a long time.
Yes, it's been around for a long time. One thing it can do, it can contribute its pages to printing that booklet. the whole booklet. And that becomes something for you all to work on.
Okay.
So you can find your sponsors to help offset the cost. But the Guardian has been around for a long time, and it can actually do that. Put that in the newspaper and give it to everybody. Okay, that's one of the ways, first of all. Listen to what some of the people had to say about us going down this particular road. It may be frightening to some. My mother and those used to say that it was very frightening to them.
Was it? You think
Yes.
that generation would have been more afraid? But so maybe
Now, that I can attest to. When I say older folks, or like the last to the first, who
They
don't say
definitely-
that Republican word right now?
they get
probably,
nervous.
What?
I think watching what Barbados did very successfully. I think we all would say they were very successful with their transition. It was smooth, right?
Right.
I've heard the Jamaican Prime Minister make comments to the effect that they too are moving towards a different system. I think he said that when Prince William and Catherine visited Jamaica, right before they came here the last time.
He made it abundantly clear when they visited.
Yeah, he said,
Nah, you're right.
said we love the
You're not dealing with
tradition,
that
but
no
we're
more.
going to be moving towards a different system.
If you think we go in that direction, you're fully done.
I wonder though, amongst your colleagues, do you get a lot of support? You did mention that right now the Progressive Liberal Party has a supermajority. Do you hear your colleagues talking about this? I mean,
No.
is there like an underground kind of movement happening?
If you're asking about the political people who are in Parliament now, the
Right.
answer is no. There's no discussion there.
Why isn't there a discussion there?
It is because of the apathy. You know, we all have a lot to say and think about a lot of things, but we are not prepared to go down to the minute.
To get to the brass tacks.
Yeah, to make it happen. We're just not prepared to do it.
See, and like I said, there's mixed reviews. I mean, we heard a previous text that people said the texters were like, okay, that could be interesting if done right, but here you go. Steeped in old school behavior. Good afternoon. Constitutional monarchy, republic, it doesn't matter. We are so corrupt as Bahamians.
Oh, boy.
The people will still get the middle finger in this regard. Like people that,
I think you could probably tell, and I'll ask you one more time, like, what's the lives of the average Bahamian? How's it going to look different? If you're selling this to Bahamians listening to you now and saying, you know what, this is why we have to go really, really put some effort into going down this road, what do you say to them?
Let me ask one.
To people like that who think it don't make a difference.
Let me ask you a question. You have a household, of course.
Yeah.
Would you like me to run your household? Would you like me to come in there and say, listen,
I wouldn't let you because I won't bend the knee, so there'll be a body, it'd be a problem.
But is it that because we all know that the role of the Governor General representing the King, because we know that it is kind of
why do we need to have someone
Because we know it is
standing
symbolic.
instead of someone else
Do you think
in
that's
order
why-
for us to make up our minds what to do?
Do you think that's why people don't think about it? Because
No,
because it doesn't have any power. Everybody's
the
like,
reality.
eh.
No, the reality is, no matter how anyone says anything, right now, if it was that Mother Pratt, the Governor General, who I've known for a long time,
Yes, great lady.
Yeah, very great
Wonderful
person.
lady, great
without,
person,
without
good
question. But if she determines
Mm-hmm.
that she would be the kind of strong-willed woman that I know she is, and if she decided, you know, something today I am not gonna do what it is they're telling me I must do.
No,
I will do what I want to do. Now listen, but
I
the
want you
reality-
to I'm listening to you
Think about
closely.
that for a
This is
second.
very interesting what you're
What
saying.
I can say, she cannot do it.
No, she cannot.
Because if she make any hint that it will happen,
we know what happens then.
eventually someone else will be touted to be the replacement.
Right. But I mean, and that's the way it should be, right? The head
No.
of government. So what do you think should be
The head of
government
now, mind you,
has that power?
I'm
and
not
that's the
I'm
way-
not an overt supporter of Mr. Trump, but I support him in the sense that he's going to make his decision to do what he thinks is the right thing for him to do because of the way their system is. And what he tries to do, and he's being kept in check by Congress every so often, and the Senate there.
Right. There is
They
checks
had-
and balance.
And
That's
just
right.
the other day, I think that they made a determination to impeach him. And some of his own Republican colleagues went against his staying in office.
Right.
So what
In
I'm
the
trying to
House,
say is
yeah.
that it is very, very important for us to know that we can make the move we need to make. Let us be totally independent, not just the negotiated one that we had in 1972 when all of the people have
This is interesting then, because the system you're describing, if you go to the U.S. system of a Republican government, then you're saying to me that and this is probably what people are curious about. You're saying to me that our head of government, who we will no longer call prime minister, we'll just move to president, will no longer be the person who has the majority support of the party. Is that going to be a position that's elected separately from maybe the parliament?
Yeah, I believe
Right,
that it
so
should
tell
be.
us-
The reason for it, if you think about it for a second, I've been involved in party politics in the Bahamas.
Right.
And no matter what is said and done, once the PLP won, we all knew that Perry Christie would be the prime minister.
Right.
And even though prime minister is not elected,
No.
whoever's the deputy leader of the party becomes automatically the deputy prime minister of the Bahamas.
Correct.
So he or she sits in wait in the event that the prime minister gets ill or sick.
But the prime minister can make that call, correct? Because you can have a situation where you could be deputy leader of the party, but because the position of deputy prime minister is not a constitutional position, it really is up to the prime minister to say who acts in that capacity. We saw that, during the last administration when the then deputy prime minister stepped down. Then we had Mr. Minnis, Dr. Minnis, who was prime minister at the time, tell us who was going to be acting in that position of deputy prime minister. So that happened.
Yes and no, but whatever, if it is that the PLP is in office or the FNM is in office,
Right. Usually.
they are not going to go against the Green in that regard because the British set that system up for us so that they could have control over the process.
I wonder though, because the funny thing about what you just mentioned is we watched in the UK in the Westminster system over the last 7 years or so. I think they probably run through like 5 to 6 prime ministers. You talk about the system of impeachment that works in the United States. It's a system where the Congress must first go ahead and impeach, and then there's a trial in the Senate. When Mr. Trump got to the Senate, they did not find him guilty, so he remained in his position. But you can move a prime minister here in the Westminster system. They moved 5 of them in the UK. It comes down to party politics.
Well, actually, they just moved one again. It's now 6.
Moved quite a bit. You can move a prime minister, but that takes the members of the party, the members of parliament. You guys can say, you know what? We don't like this road this particular person is going by. And you'd probably do the thing where you have the conversation with them and say, listen, step down. Otherwise, we're going to do X, Y, Z. So there are mechanisms in the Westminster system.
Can you think back for a second? I'm sorry to cut you, but if you think back for a second, when the apartheid system was in the Bahamas, comfortably.
Yeah.
When you think back to that, you had a handful of people who were in charge of the Bahamas. And that handful of persons, together formed whatever their organization was, and they decided who would be the first among equals.
Right.
But you had the majority of the people.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure I heard you say at one point, not too long ago, when we were talking about how we had the company vote and all these other kind of things that actually happen in the Bahamas.
Right.
And if I had a company or a few companies, and you can imagine they straddle the election, so I can get from Nassau to Inagua to vote.
I know that, this is a topic, becoming a republic, that intersects with many different things. You talk about that symbolism, what it means for us psychologically. I understand that that's a point that many people have made over the years. Then you talk about, you like the U.S. system where, Trump, if you need to impeach and remove. So the House impeaches, and then it's up to the Senate to remove. They didn't go through on that part. But I'm saying, though, like the major focus on how things would change, because we could move the prime minister to the Progressive Liberal Party could change prime minister tomorrow if they wanted to. That's possible.
Yes, they can.
So we have certain mechanisms under the Westminster system. All right, you're listening to Talking. I'm learning a lot right now, guys.
Well,
I'm learning a lot.
Questions that we do need to ask Mr. Smith on the flip side of the break in regard to a republic and with the legal system as well. We'll go over in a couple of minutes. We did get a late start with him, so we'll go over a couple of minutes into the 5 o'clock with him. We have some other guests coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, but like I said, we're going to continue the conversation on the Friday, March 6th edition of Talking Heads. And like I say, it's quite interesting. And now, I'll be honest with you, later on tonight, I know maybe 1 in the morning I might get an elbow like Barkley. It just came to mind, this interesting point on a republic.
Well, I've got to look at this. Is very interesting. And I think Mr. Smith is correct, which is that there are conversations that had, but not loud like you're saying it now. People kind of keep that on the low.
And sometimes you need one pebble in the pond to start the ripple effect and the ring and the ring and the ring and the ring to get it out there. And we need to talk about it outside more, outside of barbershops, outside of the water cooler.
Educating each other, and then we could, because it has to go to referendum. So that's a big part of this. Is a constitutional change. All right, we're going to talk more with Mr. Coat Smith, the former MP for the Mount Moriah constituency, and I'm going to ask him a couple more questions about becoming a republic, because it would be a constitutional move. So I want to know what, but then do we do like Barbados and use a different court? Anyway, we have a lot of questions, and I'm so happy he's here to answer them. You're listening to Talking Heads on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. I'm going to take a quick break for the news. We will be right back.
I've been feeling for your love so long. We can praise God in the moonlight. Baby, if you with me, better do right. And I've been gone too long, and I'm hoping that you sing my song, my song. I've been on this road for way too long.
Hey, Nassau, get ready for the new and bold bar at Burger King. 2 100% flame grilled patties, stacked with that irresistible onion crunch you love, smoky barbecue sauce, crisp bacon, and melted cheddar, all on a buttery brioche bun. Mmm, crunch, bacon, cheese, flame grilled flavor. Swing by any of Burger King's 6 Nassau locations and taste the new barbecue crispy king today. Burger King Nassau, where taste is on fire.
Join the Ultra family. Online signups are here, and it's ultra fast. Start winning from your phone. Sign up online in minutes and jump straight into the action at ultragames.com. And right now, when you sign up online, you're entered for a chance to win a car. That's right, a car.
Okay.
No long lines, no stress. Just click, sign up, and start playing. Ultra Games. Unleash your luck. Must be 18 or older. Ultra Games reminds you it's only a game. Please game responsibly.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances, so come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
For 85 years, the Armory Company has been fixing it. Your parents trusted us. Your grandparents trusted us. And today, you trust us too. Since 1941, we've been the Bahamas' trusted tech partner. From laptops and ink to access control and gate motors, we deliver reliable products backed by service that goes beyond the sale. Call 397-1600 or visit our updated showroom behind Wendy's on Mackey Street. The Armory Company, celebrating 85 years of serving you.
Are you or someone you love in need of at-home care support? Maybe you require medication administration, mobility assistance, or post-surgical recovery support. Do you have a loved one who is suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia and need patient-centered support? Well, there's a caring, affordable, and trusted solution available for you. It's called Assurance Home Care. We have certified Bahamian nurses and caregivers, and we can provide both hourly or monthly rates. Call us now for a free consultation at 242-810-8995. At Assurance Home Care, we provide quality care you can trust right at home.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
These roads of flames are catching a fire. Showed you I loved you, you called me a liar. Oh no, 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 no. Baby, tell me where you gone. I've been
We're back at ya on the Friday, March 6th edition of Talking Heads. Your boy Naughty along with MJ and your company right up until 6 p.m. Our special guest, former Mount Moriah MP, Mr. Coat Smith. And we're talking, the possibility of one day, of the what if, of the Bahamas becoming a republic. Now, a lot of people cringe when they hear that word, but I'm open to it. I'm open to the conversation. I'm open to the dialogue.
I think the conversation is very
It
important.
needs to be had.
Yeah.
And, and there's questions that arise. This was one that has come through, and I'll read this one, but there's been a lot very similar. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ, and to your guests. Does independent courts mean privatization? Because if so, that can never be good. Like private prisons are not good. That'll be absolutely crazy. Can your guest break down?
Well, right now, the Supreme Court of the Bahamas is not the way it used to be. It is now a council, so it is totally independent now. And to answer your question, I know you had an off on when we were on the break,
right?
About the Privy Council. The Privy Council is a part of our system,
right?
It is a contractual relationship. The Privy Council do not serve the Bahamas because we are. Initially, it was because we were a British colony, but you can either have it with them or you can move it as Barbados and some other places move it with the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
But I do not believe that people out in the world would say we're not going to come do business in the Bahamas because they don't have the court.
We've heard that before.
The court in the UK being, listen, we have some very brilliant lawyers in the Bahamas. And as you will see soon enough, you'll have many, many very competent lawyers, and they will be able to move the needle as far as the jurisprudence in the Bahamas is concerned.
So with the Privy Council, and I'm just trying to get myself up to date on this. This is such a great and interesting topic. Right now, and just help me understand this, the Privy Council, the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council is the final court of appeal because it's written into our Constitution. So removing the Privy Council would require a constitutional change, right? And that means that Parliament isn't enough. It'll also have to go to referendum. But I don't know. Do you keep it?
You don't have to go to referendum to deal with the courts by itself. Once you
Privy Council.
Once you change the system, depending on who puts it together,
mm-hmm.
like someone earlier said, it depends on.
But for clarity, for the texter, they just texted back and said, "Please ask Mr. Smith." He repeated independent. Does it mean privatization? Yes or no? For clarity's sake.
No, it's not privatized. No, you cannot have the system is the system. The system of government,
right?
In the case that we are talking about now, is rather than us having the king or queen as our head of state, our head of mind, like we talked about the wig. We don't use the wig anymore, but it is a part of the uniforms.
But y'all don't wear that wig no more, right?
No, we don't.
Okay.
I mean, other than special events. Yeah, man.
That's very ironic.
If you want to watch,
That's ironic.
If you want to watch people dress up in wig and gown, go downtown when they have to open it legally. Yeah.
Boy, oh my goodness! All right.
Here's one, and like I said, we have some very. I talk anything, they get fired up. Here we go. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ, and to your guest. Mr. Smith, I am confused by your criticism of King Charles permitting the law to take its course regarding allegations against his brother. Is Mr. Smith, are you saying that this behavior of sexual abuse should be covered up and the king should shield his brother? What a message on the eve of International Women's Day.
He didn't say that.
I didn't say that at all. And I think that the listener is mislistening, if I could say it like that. But the reality is, what I am saying on the other hand is that the mere fact that King Charles can make a decision to punish his brother because of what the accusations were and who he was supposedly involved with, then if he could do that to his brother, why is it that we as a whole people can't do it to our own system and say, King, thank you for your time that you've been here. Thank your mom in her absence now. But guess what? We're moving on.
Very simple.
Simple.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ, and to your guest. If it is only for the legal system alone, I would never support the Bahamas becoming a republic. Some of us believe that that is the only way at the Court of Appeal and at the Privy Council level that a regular Bahamian stands a possible chance of a fair trial. Too much familiarity at the level.
That has been, like I said, that has been something that has been in the mind of the undercurrent of the Bahamas since the 60s. Right now, and I'm looking at your newspaper, I see that the issue of Marvin Dames is here. Still is in the papers. The reality is Marvin Dames had mentioned certain things himself, not me.
Why are we talking about Marvin Dames?
We're talking about constitutional No. We are talking about the law.
Right.
The reality is Mr. Dames had admitted that he was in business relations with this person. Now, hold on. Slow down. If it is that we're going to go the route of being a republic, for example, and Marvin Dames is a good example, because if it is that Marvin said, That is my partner.
But hold on.
Wait,
with all due
you're
respect,
very
Mr. Smith, I
confused.
mean, we have another candidate that's running for the PIP that was mentioned in the same
well,
nefarious files that you made reference to as
No,
far
no,
as,
no.
far as the Prince Andrew.
But that's why I think but let me just say
But
this.
all of
So we got
just a moment. Just a
all
moment.
about Sabas being involved in that.
But no, let me just say this. I think, and this is where we tend to start to lose Bahamians, because the issue of becoming a republic should be a national question. It'd be something like Bahamians all buy into. And then when we put political lens on it, when we politicize
No,
it.
I'm not talking politics.
Let me just
I'm not
finish.
talking
Let me
politics.
just finish, Mr. Smith. When we politicize it and then it starts to be like, well, this side really doing it for this reason and this. I think the best course, and of course you could tell us how you feel, but I feel like the best course is educating people, getting them to understand how their lives will change, how becoming a republic as opposed to a constitutional monarchy.
How many times have you seen? How many times have you heard or seen that there's an old lady who lives in 5th Street, the Grove? Her grandchild, her in the grandchild's bed, under the mattress.
I'm going to stop you there
But
because
with that being the case,
Mrs. Smith,
that
I'm going to stop you there because what you're talking about is something very separate, and we could get to that. We could get to that briefly.
We're talking about the
but we're
courts and the
talking,
law.
but
hold
then
on.
you're saying to me that
We got other
you're
guests
talking
coming,
to
so I
me-
want to get this in.
You're talking to me about the Privy Council, right? And I'm understanding, I'm getting lots of text messages here, and they're saying to me that the Privy Council is actually the final court of appeal, and it is written into the Constitution.
Yes.
And that in order to change the Privy Council, not only would we have to go to referendum to remove the king, we'd have to do the same if we wanted to change the
If
Privy
you
Council.
want to change the system to become a republic,
Right.
who writes the Hear me out. Let me finish
but
it.
that's two questions on the referendum.
Who writes the document? That's why I would like for people to read what Paul Adley and Sean McQueenie wrote. Read
Well,
it.
I'm asking you. You're an attorney.
No, read it. No, I don't want to say it because the reality is read it first of all.
Mhm.
Let us have that discussion after everyone has read it. Like you said, members of Parliament do not read even the legislation
Now
in front of them.
now you're doing well. I've heard that, but let me just say this to you. I think that a lot of times we say, "Oh, well, just go read it," but here you have the great opportunity to educate Bahamians on your perspective on why they should do this.
But when I start to go down the road, you stop me.
Yeah, no,
because
I'm stopping you from politicizing something that I feel
I'm
should
not
be
talking politics.
that I feel should be a conversation about the direction of the nation. I think that educating people on the process, telling us, okay, we would need Parliament to do certain things, and then we would need a referendum on that, and then also that we would need a referendum if we want to remove the Privy Council. But you haven't even said, would you want to remove the Privy Council or
No, I personally don't want to. I don't need to. Why?
Okay.
Because the independence of the court
Right.
can entitle right now the Chief Justice to make any kind of arrangement with any other body he wishes. If he decides that, listen, I want the Caribbean court to be my head court of appeal, he can put that together in a document, and he can advance that there.
What do you
Or-
want? I'm asking what is your view like? What would you?
I can
Code
tell
Smith,
you.
designing the system. What would you do?
I have had an opportunity myself with documents that I prepared. I actually appeared in front of the Privy Council before.
Good stuff.
And the law changed because of the misapprehension of what the Court of Appeal had. Now, at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that the people in the Caribbean could not do the same thing. It didn't exist back then. And it was a political issue, but it was a political
All right.
issue with respect
I
to
have
someone
one,
else.
I have one for you in this.
Go ahead. No, let's go ahead.
Good
'Cause I think
afternoon.
you've answered that first. You would keep the Privy Council. Yes.
I would.
Okay, good.
Good afternoon, Naughty and Amgen, to you. Yes. How expensive would the process be to switch to a republic in terms of access and relationships with other Commonwealth countries?
That is an excellent question.
Nothing.
What are your thoughts?
We would not lose anything. You know why? Think about it for a moment. Go back in your minds, if you are old enough to do so. Go back to pre-1973. All of the negative things that has been said about the Bahamas, with all the leaders that we have had, all of them.
Right.
But guess what? We still survive. And right now, we are getting even better.
How much would it cost? This is a very important question.
That
Thank you very much.
I don't know the
'Cause-
answer.
and then
I
also-
don't know the answer to that. I can't.
When you
Because-
think about this, and I want you to answer quickly because we're running out of time. When you think about the history of referendums in this country, are you confident if we went to a referendum on this issue that your preferred result will happen?
If you have a super majority, and
Uh-huh.
if in the system that we currently have, in this case, we're talking about the Prime Minister Davis. If Prime Minister Davis says to his colleagues, listen, one of the things that we get to go in on election is we can make our road toward republic. And if he sells that to them and they are on board with it, conceivably they would be, then he will have a supermajority for the Constitution.
So I'm going to ask you a little inside the ballpark question before we go to the phone lines. Do you know the Prime Minister's views on this?
No.
You don't?
No.
You didn't ask him?
No, the Prime Minister has all Prime Ministers, they're individuals too, you know. They
Of
have
course.
their own views, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't know because, I mean, he would be a great ally. And like you said, right now, there's that supermajority. You don't know?
Listen, for me, for me, him being an ally would come from me speaking about it publicly.
Okay.
I just said goodbye to Felix Bowe today. And Felix Bowe would have said the same thing that I'm saying now to me. Code, get on with it.
There you go. Good stuff.
Let's get to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Good morning, MJ, and them other two people, Code and...
Oh, boy. Good evening. Good night, C. Allen.
Hi, Code.
You know, I could come up with a real quick answer. Anyway, CA, carry on smartly.
Let me tell you something, right? There's about 5 different options available for the Republic, right? That we won't talk in comprehensive. There's not enough time.
Right.
But let me tell you the biggest issue, and I've heard them talk about this for a long time, is that we never talk about the choices we have. And individuals always bring their perception of what it should be, as opposed to educating people of the choices that we have, and then have a conversation. Because in any other model, in the truest aspect of a republic, it required capacity building, building the new institutions, the economy. And you want me to tell you the most important thing about becoming a republic?
What's that?
It's developing the civic disciplines that make a republic durable and influential.
Yeah, mindset.
And so, you know, you had a topical things, right? But I think that a true conversation for a shift to a Republican style of governance require first an education, something we have not done, civics in the school, right? And so it then requires an extensive sense. Here are the 4 or 5 choices we have. Here are the pros and cons of each one of them. And here is the structure and capacity and the time it would take to basically do these. Like, touch the KPI is my favorite word.
Yeah.
And then, so I would tell you that this process could very easily be 5 to maybe 10 years of actually understanding and showing the capacity. Because, first of all, let me understand this. Let's look at how we are right now when you talk about the capacity to change, right? I of all kind of my influential years grew up in republics, is that right now today, right, we talk about the budget. But our budget today, if you look at what we have to develop the country, should be $5 billion or more. We got a $3.5 billion budget. So we're already underperforming, and we can't even match those benchmark of $3.5 billion when we really need 5. And so all of this has to be incorporate into this and changing. And that's why, as part of I said the economy has to be part of it, as well as building the institutions.
Absolutely.
So I say let the conversation happen, but let it be in context.
I think the conversations are good.
All right,
Thank you
thanks,
so
Alan.
much, Steve Allen.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ, and to your guests. This conversation, while important, is not going to work unless there's extensive public education.
I think
We've
so.
seen from all the other referenda that people voted with their emotions as a herd rather than with their individual brains.
That's why I was asking you how, I mean, the recent history of referenda in this country, I mean, we have a long way to go, right?
Well,
you think we have a long way to go?
We have a long way to go, but it has to start. No matter how long it is, you must start.
Yeah.
And yes, some of us who are on the front line, we will be the ones that get the more hits. You know,
Right.
C. Allen, I know, been talking about referendum for years. I've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
I in high school, when I was in high school, I'm sure that Camille Johnson or Cartwright, if she is still around, would tell you that I boycotted my history class. Literally.
That sounds like something you would do.
No, I did not want to learn anything more about King and the Queen of England.
That book, what was that book they used to have us read in school? I remember. I understand your point of
The
view.
civics that C. Allen
get it.
brought about is the mindset that I spoke about earlier. That needs to change.
Well, Mr. Smith, you did say that, you know, you'll be on the front lines and the journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step.
Yes.
Yeah. So
And
so I encourage you to keep going.
And we'll have you back for sure to continue the conversation.
We'd love to
because
have you back.
This is something that has sparked interest today for sure. And like I say, initial conversations will have the pros and the cons. Some people will be for, some people will be against, some people will be right down the middle. And the more information that they garner and they collect and they can process, then we can make a better determination. But at some point, it needs to be a serious conversation that we entertain. Should we become a republic at some point or not?
Just so we're clear, because I know that, maybe some people that I agree with you about Prince Andrew, and your view is that it was the right thing for King Charles to remove him, right?
I don't know what is right for him. I can tell you one thing. What he did,
if he could do it,
we should do to
we
him.
could do it too. Okay?
Right.
What he did to his brother, we should do to him.
Yeah, I got you.
Full stop.
I got you. All right. It was a pleasure having you here, and we look forward to having more of these conversations where you help educate us on this whole subject of moving potentially one day from a constitutional monarchy to a republic. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Full self-determination.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
There you go. We're going to take a quick break. Flip side of the break, we got our friends from the Elevation Awards in studio. We're going to be talking to VMAC and crew, getting you all caught up. They're coming up in short order. And, of course, for talk show, radio talk show of the year.
And I think CA as well.
And CA, yeah.
And some other of our colleagues from the past at other stations. So.
But it doesn't matter.
Congratulations.
They're not on the Guardian radio team, but congratulations.
All the nominees. Don't get it.
Let's get to the break. Mr. Producer, you know I rule. That's all
man.
coming
Thank
up.
you
Keep it
very
right
much.
where you got it. Talking Heads continues right after this.
Thank you.
Craving something bold, fresh, and unforgettable? Tropical Gyros is your flavor-packed escape, a Carib-Greek fusion born right here in Nassau. From juicy grilled salmon, chicken, and pork gyros to loaded bowls, fresh salads, wings, and more, there's something for every craving. Find Tropical Gyros at any of their locations, JFK Plaza, Rosetta Street, Port Lucaya Freeport, or their franchise spots on Prince Charles Drive, Soldier Road West, Delaport, and Carmichael Road. Tropical Gyros, not just good food, it's an experience.
Tech giving you trouble? For 85 years, the Armory Company has been fixing it. Your parents trusted us. And today, you trust us too. Since 1941, we've been the Bahamas' trusted tech partner. From laptops and ink to access control and gate motors, we deliver reliable products backed by service that goes beyond the sale. Call 397-1600 or visit our updated showroom behind Wendy's on Mackey Street. The Armory Company, celebrating 85 years of serving you.
For over half a century, Hongxi has been reserved only for heads of state and world leaders. It wasn't just a car, it was a privilege. Easy Car Sales is proud to bring that distinguished heritage to the Bahamas. A new era in luxury electric, rooted in absolute prestige. It's for the few who demand freedom from the gas pump and first-class craftsmanship. Visit Easy Car Sales to see if you're ready for a taste of royalty.
The fried chicken experts are back with a brand new way to enjoy your favorite sandwich. Introducing the Wrap Star. Crunch into the Wrap Star, full of flavor and wrapped in a warm grilled tortilla for that perfect crunchy bite. A classic made modern that's crunchy, melty, and grilled to perfection for all the journeys of your day. KFC, it's finger licking good.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio 96.9.
These roads of flames are catching a fire. Showed you I love you, you called me a liar. Give God the thanks and praises. I've been on my own. But we ain't never left alone. And if I'm telling you the feeling is wrong, relax a little, friend, this won't take too long. And when you're feeling alone, you can call my phone. Is there a better way to go? Teach them something before they lose their soul. Oh, no. Freedom is the road. Oh, no. Coming in from the cold. Tell them not to sell it, it's worth more than gold. And guiltiness just won't catch them in the end.
We're back at you on the Friday, March 6th edition of Talking Heads. Naughty and MJ and your company right up until 6 p.m. And good to have our special guest with us today, man. Glad to catch up with him because I know on the 23rd of this month, 21st of this month? 21st of this month? 21st of this month. Listen, forgive me. A lot of things happening at the end of the month. You got Elevation Awards. You got March Madness bracketology. That will probably be the 23rd. Will probably be like the first week or the second week going into the round of 8 and then the final 4. So yeah, March.
Okay, but we can kick off with Elevation. Though.
Elevation for sure.
That's number one.
That's number one.
That's what we're going to kick off.
We can
with.
stay there.
and that's where we'll stay for this show. And we'll talk basketball on Sunday, but. Glad to have you back. No stranger to the show. I thank you again for the nomination, but let us know how the Elevation Awards are progressing so far. I hear a lot. I hear it's going to be a big thing at Margaritaville.
That's right. All roads lead to Margaritaville. March 21st. It's going to be a night to remember. It's all about, Naughty, bringing together the community under one roof to honor and celebrate. We got the people from all walks. We've been, the creatives and the influencers and the entertainers, they grind year out, year in, all around the year. So this is one opportunity for everyone to come under one roof and just rub shoulders, love on each other, support each other, celebrate each other. It's not a competition as people try to make it feel. This is really an opportunity to bring people together, right?
And I've always supported you because, if you look at my career, retired after 27 years at Jokers, all right? And it was local, it was abroad. Mm-hmm. But the good thing about it is all during that time, there was never, like you said, a lane for creatives, a lane for up-and-coming artists. It was just a traditional, secular, this is what we can do every year, copy and paste cookie cutter.
Yeah.
So when you came out with it, I always tipped my hat to you. I was like, all right, and I give V-Mac credit, man. He had enough, gumption and backbone and vision and passion to say, hey, we got to reward our local artists, not just gospel, but mainstream and creatives.
Creatives, entertainment. Producers, the whole nine. Yeah.
So, and I'm not blowing my own horn here, but it's MJ, I tell you, it's right there in the trophy
He's
case.
going to blow his own horn now.
I never expected that night. You set me up good. Oh, I need you to present. And I present, and then I walking off, and the next thing I hear, entertaining. I was humbled. I was grateful.
Now, true confession, getting him to present was probably the only way to get him in the building that we had.
Right,
we knew he was winning.
But y'all done had some fun with me over the years too. Speaking of present, because the next time you had me there to present, I don't know who the comedian was on the monitor. Kept making the letters go big and small, and then mid-range you had to say, "Hold on, now I went to St. Andrews. I can read, okay? Now y'all slow down."
Boy.
But that's the whole thing about Elevation is fun.
It's fun.
And
it is fun.
One of the biggest things that I always, and I'll use the word cherish, there was a period there for the first couple of Elevation Awards, me and MDs used to hang out in the back and talk the most foolishness. The most absolute off-the-wall ridiculosity ever. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad he got to shine on that platform before we lost him. I'm so glad he got to perform there.
Yeah.
And you guys gave him his flowers while he was with us.
Yeah.
And I still can't believe
that's what we want to do. All of our, we over the course of the Elevation Awards, we've been able to celebrate giants that are no longer with us. You're talking about 1 year. I think our first year, we listen. I mean, I don't want to scare anybody, but I am one of the most humbling opportunities for us for the show able to celebrate Charles Carter. So Charles Carter.
Yes.
And the next year he passed away. And Ronnie Butler was able to give a tribute to him on our stage, and that was amazing.
I remember that. Yeah.
And then the next year, we were able to change our Lifetime Achievement Award category, honorary recipient category to the Ronnie Butler Lifetime Achievement Award. And that second year of the show, we were able to honor James Catlin, right?
And that was another one who, again, I'm glad you gave him his flowers before he passed away, because that was a legend.
That was a legend.
And you talk about Charles Carter. He was inspirational to me as a broadcaster.
Yeah.
And James Catlin, listen, there was never more a good time sitting down with my late mother and my late aunt, watching James Catlin and friends, laughing at myself with the late Vivica Watkins and crew, and Cookie and Thingham from Superwash, the commercials, and shout out to Cookie and her sidekick, and I can't remember sidekick name. When you see me in public, you can slap me for not remembering the name, but you understand what I'm saying. And we grew up on that, and that was stuff that, when I look back, I was like, okay, these were some of the things that were embedded in you. You didn't even know it then.
When you're young.
But later on, it made it just natural.
And James Catlin was very popular in Freeport, too, where I grew up at the Freeport Players Guild. He was universal.
And I'll tell you another little personal moment. The year you made people think I was blind and couldn't read because you always playing fun with me. He told me at that show, he appreciated the work that I was doing, and I was humbled by that because he was like a legend. And then, like you say, a year later, he was gone.
Yeah, later we were able to, we were able to even honor in a significant way, because at that time he just landed a major deal in the U.S. MDs, and the year he passed away about several months after the award, after winning Male Artist, some of his biggest tune, Tiffany. I mean, songs after songs, and
he was there. I mean,
he was there
when he passed. They asked me to talk about the situation, and that was one of the big things that bothered me. He was like our Big L.
Yeah.
I make that comparison like to Big L. Big L was right there, ready to bust. There would be no Jay-Z today. There would be no couple other these dudes running around who everybody thinks is the rap deity. Big L was the business, and he was right there, ready to go.
Right there.
And MDs was right there. He was not only doing his own thing, he was featuring on international reggae compilation albums.
Listen,
doing duets with artists. I mean, he's ready to go.
And we have been able to celebrate, and I'm glad that we were able to give persons their flowers. Rodney Munga, right? We were able. I remember you did a drop from the audience right next to Rodney,
right
in the show the year that you hosted.
So I think I've earned the right to say that after 27 years at Jokers, you do not have to honor me with the Lifetime Achievement Award until I'm about.
Wait a few more decades.
You see me. We do this until I'm about 85 or 89, 90. You want to do it then? Fine.
Listen, we don't give you your flowers and send you to glory.
But the Elevation Awards have evolved over the years. When I looked at some of the categories this year, it was more. I think it seems like more than that original year. Tell us about that process from growing from where you started to how you're bigger and better every year, and that's not easy to do. Tell us about that process over the years.
The reality is significant to the space. When COVID came about, when the Elevation Awards first started, we were in the peak of the carnival season. So music was coming out like water, right? Like music masters competitions and this and that. And so people were just producing. And we were more heavy music driven. And then as time has progressed and as COVID came and persons now became find time something to do with their time, sitting up in the house, putting up their phone and becoming creatives
influencers,
and overnight influencers, right? And so the dynamic of the industry and the space has changed so much. So in our quest of remaining relevant, we wanted to make sure that we keep with our vision of recognizing creatives and entertainment throughout the entire space. So we made the decision about several years ago to really begin, because we actually questioned whether or not we were going to continue doing the show, because no one is really producing like music. And so we had to be creative, right? And we had to think, well, how can we remain relevant? And then the social media space began to blow up. Then we started introducing blogs, because when we first started, we had a blog. No one writes no more. People just pick up their phone and start recording, right? And start creating content. So we discontinued the blog
and they became vlogs.
And now they became blogs with a V, right? And so and then social media has been on the rise. And then I know when I started in the music industry years ago, radio was a big part of our success. And because we know how hard it is to continue to fight against digital streaming platforms, DSPs and other things. We say, you know what, we have to do our part to keep radio in the forefront and push the radio DJs and the radio personalities and the radio shows, just to remind people that this is still a part of the foundation of the industry. And so we were intentional about making sure that we kept our talk show, our radio talk show, our radio personality categories, just to make sure that we continue to show our support for the industry and for that particular market within the industry. And so every year we're looking to see what works, what doesn't work, and remain relevant year to year.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this year, it to be expected again, another great show. I see you got a bevy of performers lined up.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, one of the interesting things with the submission process this year is every year, the beautiful thing about the show is that the platform is not like the Grammys or like the BET Awards, where your manager has you have to be a part of an association of sort, and it's a tight niche. We have been able to be introduced to. I mean, we received submissions from Inagua, like artists in Inagua and different parts of the country and artists. We have been able to introduce ourselves to artists in that Bahamian artists that live abroad all around the world. And so our submission process, we're able to be introduced to persons that may never be able to be heard on the radio. There's a part of the show that is designed to introduce new talent, right? With our new Artist of the Year category. And this year, for the first 3 years, because of Carnival and everything else, it was the same artists being nominated. And once COVID came and different creators started to burst out, new faces started to squeeze their way through that tight door, right? And now the door is widened. So you have some new artists like D-Mac's daughter, who just released some new music. Party Bands, cool. Zaria Bahamas, I think her name is. And Party Bands has become a thing now where before we only knew about the Spank Band and Visage.
Right.
And so now you got Essence Band and you got Dazzle Band and all these different bands that have been coming together to entertain in a greater way. And so now the performance this year represents that as well. New talent. We have Ton Ash on the lineup this year.
Shout out to Ton Ash, man.
Ton Ash has
we played several of his songs here, and we still are committed to pushing Bahamian music in whatever platform we're on. And Ton Ash, he got a Friday song I always stay singing there. I'm just, but God, I want to hold you like a cup of Henny.
Very good.
Huh?
That's
you
right.
Real lyrics like that?
Yeah.
I want to lick you like a food stamp. I mean, come on, that's that.
Creative genius, man.
Thank you very much.
Under Rake and Scrape. I mean, and Ton Ash has predominantly been a hip hop artist, right? In coming out in the space and being able to translate, and he has always been a creative genius, a genius in his writing, but now being able to find his niche in a greater way with Rake and Scrape.
And listen, I watched several go and see I could pull their files because they was coming on the morning show. Right. They was coming on the midday show at MJ.
Yeah.
Music was getting pushed.
Yeah.
I watched Johnny Cake go from Rio de Janeiro.
I remember that, yeah.
Singing R&B and rap.
Yes, I remember
to Johnny
that.
Cake.
To Johnny Cake.
To rapping as Johnny Cake to now, because he came out with a cover of Girls Ain't Loyal to Them Girls Want Royals.
Yes, the Chris Brown song.
That was
remember
boom.
that. That was good.
And now he's evolved into Rake and Scrape, and I see him doing his thing.
Yeah.
Twin them.
Yep.
Hot. Yep. I mean, big time hip hop artists, and now they branching into Rake and Scrape.
Rake and Scrape. I mean,
I even saw my boy Papa Smurf, and shout out to Smurf down there in Freeport, man, a legend in the game, man.
He was a nominee last year.
And
so,
boom,
yep.
Everybody crossing over to the Rake and Scrape. So I like to see the blend.
Everyone right now is crossing over, and so that is very inspiring because at one point, and let me tell you what I love about it though, Naughty, is that at one point we were having an argument in the space, or the space was arguing about only the Rake and Scrape and only the Rake and Scrape and traditional Bahamian artists.
Listen, I used to catch flack from that too.
You used to get that too. Yeah.
You pushing this hip hop?
Right.
There ain't no Bahamian
Radio
hip hop.
radio was only playing Rake and Scrape, right? And so now
you ain't heard my boy them just now. You ain't heard these other tracks from these other artists. You ain't heard Shadow Fox just now. But now Bahamian hip hop.
There you go. And so now these artists has been able to understand like this is the foundation of the Bahamas, unfortunately, and they've been able to creatively keep their style style, but bring it over into a market that allows them to be viable. And I love that about the space. I love these.
I mean, that's
artists.
some of the best. That's some of the best Bahamian music I've heard in a while.
Yeah.
Listen, if you hear me singing a song or listening, and I heard a ton of music over my time, or I hear it and I say, "Boy, this one right here." I look down and I say, "Boy, this one right here."
Different.
Yeah. They're different. And I like what they're doing. We got some calls. Let's jump to them right quick. Talking Heads.
Yes, good afternoon to you all again.
Hey.
Hi, Vince McDonald.
Hey.
Johnson. Hey, Vince, man, congratulations on how this has grown. I've watched you from the beginning.
Thank
But
you.
the 2 awards that you haven't put up there yet.
What's that?
One is for yourself, because a lot of people don't know that you literally had the first digital television in the Bahamas with your little studio.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
Okay? And the second is, it's for me, you know, the guy that appears on all those shows.
The Chronic Talk Show Caller of the Year Award.
I think maybe we want to be the one with the most substantive caller on a pair.
That's entertainment too, you know. I mean, that could be considered. I love these. Yeah.
You got to get BTC to sponsor that so you get a year supply of minutes.
But I say this, but Vince, a lot of people don't know of that part of you when you had that station, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, as a digital person, I really totally admire that, and I think a lot of it, believe it or not, the global market with these shot even video to where you was years ago. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you so much, man.
Good stuff, Seattle. Thanks. Let's get to the other call. Talking Heads.
I think we lost that one.
All right, yeah, that one dropped. Oh, but listen, VMAT, we got to get to the break, and MJ got to get to, and I got to get to the rap. But give them the rundown one more time. You'll be on again before the show.
Absolutely, we're gonna be back, man. It's all roads lead.
Listen, I want to thank you on behalf of our colleagues. You know, Dwight with Morning Blend.
Yeah.
CA, I know CA get on there, but CA, you know, CA's my boy. If I didn't crack joke on CA, the day wouldn't go right. CA on there as well. We got Zhivago, Lang as well with Z-Live, and you got Talking Heads with
Listen,
Naughty and
Guardian
MJ and
represented. I mean, when you talk about talk show, talk radio, if it ain't Guardian, you know, hats off to Guardian, man. No one does it.
And I appreciate you, you know, looking at that, you know, at our space as talk show.
Yeah.
And radio personalities.
And
it was very y'all entertaining, man. I almost didn't want to come in after your first guest. And I'm like, how do I come after that?
Well, you know, we try to do it a little different. Talking Heads, a talk show that other talk shows listen to. You know what I mean?
But like C. Allen mentioned just now, you have done so much in this. We got to figure out, because you do have to get your roses as well. You've done such a great job. I have personally watched. Were we at the first or the second Elevation Awards?
We were at the first.
So we were at the first, and we were at a couple along the way. And I have watched this thing grow.
Thank you so
much.
much.
And so congratulations to you for being able to do this in the way that you do it, because it's a high level. You know what I mean?
Thank you so much.
And showing so much appreciation to, and probably because of people like you who recognize them, you may have people who think, I don't know if anybody, you know, seeing what I do and recognizing me. You talk about people all the way in Inagua and in the different islands.
Yeah.
What you do is very important, and we so much appreciate you.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And I second everything my better half said. I do appreciate you so much, Youngblood. And shouts to your pops too, man, because you know that's my boy for years without fears, man.
Absolutely.
All right,
absolutely.
and make sure, you know, tell him, you know, enjoy life, because he's, you know, good dude.
Indeed.
But like I say, thank you for doing what you do, and props to your team for making it happen.
Yeah, man, it's all about the team,
And
man.
y'all go the whole 9 yards. Everybody feel like they, even if you don't feel like you're a celebrity or a star, you make you feel like a
man, we
star.
rolled the red
With all them
carpet for
flags and all
everybody.
that.
We rolled the red carpet for everyone.
So now in true Naughty One fashion, I will say that multiple best morning show awards, put that on the side. We got some, you know, P. Anthony White Columnist of the Year awards. You know, thank God for them, because, you know, every time they went out, if MJ didn't make sure I was going to jail.
Oh, Lord.
and then we got, you know, Elevation Awards, Entertainer of the Year. There's enough space right there, I think.
Yeah.
Talk Show of the Year.
Listen to him anyway.
I passed the trophy case this morning, and the trophy case was like, Naughty, we got some space over here, bro.
Do you dust your trophy off?
He polishes them.
it? Okay.
Yeah,
people talk to their plants. I talk to my trophy 2 times a month.
He's got a bunch from when he was a big swimmer back in the day too. At least 50 to 60. He polishes all of his trophies.
And I got trophies, man. I got 7 straight High Point trophies in a row, man. Nobody got them. And then y'all came along and allowed me in my professional career to add to the collection. So
Thank you
y'all
so much.
Y'all are part of the problem. Y'all are enablers, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for spending time. You know we're going to see you again before
Absolutely,
the 21st.
absolutely.
But I want everybody to keep that date in mind. March 21st. That is when the Elevation
You know
Awards
what?
go
Yep,
down
yep.
at Margaritaville. We're going to all be there. We're going to have a good time. Like
Get
you
your tickets
said,
now.
For all of us hanging out, having a good time. That's
Yep.
what it's about.
Yep, get your tickets today, www.theelevationawards.com. And hey, dress to impress. Red carpet at 6 o'clock, Margaritaville. You don't want to miss it.
All right, good
Thank
stuff.
you so much.
Appreciate you, V-Mac. And we're gonna go to the break right quick, and then we'll wrap right after the break. All right? Keep it right
Thank
where
you
got
so
it.
much, guys.
I've been hoping that we all get along. These roads of flames.
Refined style with elegant taste. Then fine threads is your place. If you want those slacks hemmed or just taking the waist, then fine threads is your place. If you wanna look suave and debonair everywhere you go, like you're supposed to be in a video, wanna step out and look great, then fine threads is your place. Refined style with elegant taste, then fine threads is your place. Is your place. Is your place.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances. So come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
The fried chicken experts are back with a brand new way to enjoy your favorite sandwich. Introducing the Wrap Star. Crunch into the Wrap Star, full of flavor and wrapped in a warm grilled tortilla for that perfect crunchy bite. A classic, made modern, that's crunchy, melty, and grilled to perfection for all the journeys of your day. KFC, it's finger licking good.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
And I'm hoping that you sing my song. I've been on this road for way too long. I've been hoping that we all get along. These roads of flames are catching a fire. Showed you I love you, you called me a liar. Give child the
All right, we're back at you on the Friday, March 6th edition. You know what? I just had an idea, MJ.
What is that?
Well, shout out to North Carolina.
Hey, North Carolina.
Hey, Naughty and MJ, this is Dr. Levette Scott. I'm coming into town on next week, Friday, March 13th.
There you go.
And I'm wondering, listen, Realty 13th.
There you go.
I know you're listening now.
North Carolina coming home for a little bit.
Yeah, now you need to,
Good stuff.
listen, North Carolina, if you come in now.
Oh, what you need?
You know you got to bring some North Carolina Tar Heel Blue for me and MJ.
I was going to say, don't run out now.
Carolina Tar Heel Blue for me and MJ. If you bring something from Duke, you can't sit on the show. I just want to let you know.
Just have a safe trip in North Carolina.
Safe trip, and we'll see you next week. And bring some barbecue, too. Or Waffle House. Texas.
Yeah.
No, whenever I hear North Carolina,
You like
know.
Waffle House. You
but you
really
remember,
love
we
Waffle
had
House.
some of our best barbecue in North Carolina.
North Carolina had great barbecue. It also had, I was going to say moonshine, but I'm thinking that was Tennessee.
That was Tennessee.
Okay, that's
that was the
Tennessee.
apple pie moonshine in Tennessee.
That was some strong stuff.
Boy,
Is that legal? I mean,
I
it
don't
is
know.
legal, right?
But I tell you, with moonshine.
Bad time to ask, but is that legal? That moonshine. That was strong.
I don't know, but I see why all the stories were about moonshine, why they are, because it goes down like instantly. When you first taste it, it's like, oh my goodness, an angel just went to the bathroom on my tongue. And then it hits the back of your throat and it's like,
The crazy thing is, like, when you're done, because we did a lot of these trips for your comedy career where you performed in these states, so we went there. The thing about it is, like, they're so friendly, like, especially comedians.
But
down
that's
there,
what I-
right?
that's what
And
I-
then they offer you this stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I made some moonshine." You're like, "What? You made now homemade alcohol?"
And that's what I-
And when they offer it to you, you can't say no, and then you taste and you're like, "Is this even legal?"
and that's why I'm so glad you started going on the road with me, because when I would go by myself, it would just be like comedy club, room, like get food and room. And I'd be in and like, yeah, I'm in the middle of the dirty South. I'm not going to
Yeah.
go out. I look,
Sometimes it was very tricky.
I don't want to go out. But then when you started coming on the road, it would be good because then, okay, I'm a foodie.
Food was
But we do the food thing, we do the culture thing, we go check out museums, we go check out, like artwork, landscape, historical sites, like in Savannah, that was off the chain.
Savannah was interesting. What was the town? What state were we in when we walked past? I want to say it was like a Cracker Barrel or something, and everybody.
That was Tennessee.
Was that Tennessee?
That was Knoxville. That was Knox Vegas.
That
When
was
everybody
Knoxville.
started freaking out, they started looking like you was Beyonce walking by.
But I was like, am I the first black person these people have seen? Like,
Well,
why
I
is
saw-
everybody at the window looking at us walking past?
I saw one.
That was crazy.
I saw one mouth the word Scooter. She looks just like
That is
Beyonce.
not true. It was weird. I must say. I mean, most of our
And
expensive.
MJ was fine popping through. Don't get me wrong. She had on a little tight, nice little shorts and nice little top, looking good to go.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, really.
But he was
weird,
right
but-
in the window of the thing. Hey, Scooter, she looks like Beyonce.
But we
right
were able
there.
to see every place from New York to Los Angeles.
And West Virginia was cool,
And then
too.
we got to see places like Virginia and West Virginia.
And remember, we got stuck behind
Prestonsburg.
George W. Bush in West Virginia
When
on
he's
the
going to
highway.
Marshall,
when he was going to Marshall University.
I remember that. The president, and let me tell you, when you see a presidential motorcade in real life, I didn't realize how long. You remember, like we were parked on the side and it was like a good 5 minutes. How many cars passed? That was
All right,
crazy.
Doc, you answering back. So we'll see you next Friday.
We'll see you next
And you
Friday in North
answered-
Carolina.
You answered what type of barbecue?
Oh no! Don't
Brisket,
You-
brisket,
North
or
Carolina.
ribs.
Don't mind them.
We got enough chicken here in the 242. You know how that go.
Oh, we love it.
Yeah, but you got some brisket now.
Yeah.
Me and MJ will take care of that brisket for you.
Make for a great weekend.
But yeah, definitely, that's another reason why I love you so much, man. You made those adventures even more fun and adventuresome. And guess what? We talk about West Virginia. What about when we drove from? People don't know where we drove from to get to West Virginia.
One time.
One shot.
'Cause when
and
you're
this
young-
was pre-Google and pre-all of
When
that.
you're young, you're broke.
And the map, like
It was
literally the
literally
map.
MapQuest, and we drove from
Lauderdale
all
to
the
West
way up.
Virginia and back. And did shows in between. In
Yeah,
Ashland,
a lot of-
Kentucky,
a lot
Paducah,
of shows.
Kentucky, Prestonsburg, Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky. Then we went on over to West Virginia, Charlotte, Charleston, West Virginia, and performed there.
That
Yeah,
was a
good
lot of
time.
hours driving, and when you're young, you do crazy stuff like
And
that.
that tour was very interesting because we were with Fat Doctor, the late great Fat Doctor, and a lot of people don't know, man. Fat Doctor mentored Tommy Davidson, and he more importantly mentored Dave Chappelle.
Yes.
And the beautiful thing about Fat Doctor was, for years when I worked in entertainment, we would introduce the jokers, comedians, and they'd come and do bingo with us, and we'd push the comedy club.
Right.
And then years later, he was proud of me. And he said, "Well, you evolved from the pool. I always thought you were funny. I always thought you had the gift, and now you're
Yeah.
here." And it was good to
He
learn from him and sit at his feet.
represented
He
Washington,
did it
D.C. very well.
to the fullest, man. So, yeah, thanks for letting us share that part too, man. I appreciate that's good
How
memories,
we get
man.
down memory lane. I
I
blame
don't know.
Chivago and all that music today. Boy, I like
But you
that.
see that poor
I
Sam
love
days when I
that.
broke off
I
for you?
love that.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, we want to thank our guest, former Mount Moriah MP, Mr. Coates. Man, we got to get him in here regularly to talk about how we get this for public conversation out there for those that are, wanting to get more information.
What up, Naughty and MJ? Can you please recommend a comedy show I can catch this weekend? I don't know about a local comedy show, but if you want to catch on Netflix, catch Dave Chappelle special, catch Cat Williams special.
Bill Burr is good.
Bill
too.
Burr is excellent, and there was one
But
more
Chappelle,
too.
we watched Chappelle
That
last
Chappelle
time.
one is
Yeah,
off the
I like
chain.
it.
All right, but for MJ, for Pearlie, for Mr. Producer, this your boy Naughty. We'll see you Sunday on the Press Box, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here on Guardian Radio. We'll all be in the building. We'll be talking sports. So be sure to join us for that. And shout out to VMAC and the
yes,
crew from
VMAC
Elevation,
as well,
man.
yes,
for
and
being
the
here,
team.
man.
Good
Appreciate
stuff.
y'all. Y'all have a great weekend, Bahamas. Be good, be safe, and we'll see you Sunday for the Press Box and Monday for Talking Heads. Don't touch it.
And guiltiness won't catch them in the end. Oh yeah, they'll try to manipulate.